2.0 and its implication on understanding the national education policy and its implication on technical education. Okay, I would like to invite you to please continue the session.
It is a little bit covered in the first session itself, when our chief guest, Mr. Kamal Mishra, was taking us through some of the NEP 2020 principles. But I'll go over some of the things and try to throw some light on some of the things from technical education perspective. So what was the actual vision? These are the three major visions that the National Education Policy 2020 envisioned. They envisioned that an education system should be rooted to Indian ethos and should contribute directly to transforming India. And that is sustainably into an equitable and vibrant knowledge society by providing high quality education to all, thereby making India as a global knowledge superpower. So the aim or the vision is to make India global knowledge superpower by using our own culture and own history. So that is the main vision. Followed by, it also envisages that the curriculum and pedagogy of our institution must develop among the students a deep sense of respect towards the fundamental duties, constitutional values, and bonding with our own country. So it has mentioned in this particular policy that you have to have this kind of moral values. So, for example, people who are studying in say convents or people starting in some of the ICSE schools have this as a particular topic called value education. Okay. So the government of India is trying to bring that through the NEP 2020 to any type of institute. Even in the Anganwadi institutes also, they want to bring this thing that you have to have social values, moral values. Okay, so that everybody understands what their fundamental duty is and what are the constitutional values. At least at a high level they understand. And it can only be done if it is taught in your curriculum. As I said, already different English medium schools have it. So a form of value education. And as I said in the very first, the first step is to make India a knowledge superpower based on whatever our history or whatever our culture is. From our strong cultural background and strong ethos, we can try to become a knowledge superpower. And third is to instill among the learners a deep-rooted pride of being Indian. Not only in thought, but also in spirit, intellect, deeds, as to develop knowledge, skills, values, dispositions that support responsible commitment to human rights, sustainable development, global well-being, thereby reflecting a truly global citizen. So once we are saying that we want to support or want to make India a knowledge superpower with Indian traditions, but at the same time we need to have well aware about what is happening around the world, so you know how to make the world a better place, so that we are becoming a truly global citizen. So these are the main visions about this national education policy of 2020. And these are based on some fundamental principles. There are around 4 slides on this. So I will just point out some of the important ones. recognizing, identifying and fostering the unique capabilities of each student. Okay, so that is important, that you promote students' holistic development, but you foster the unique ability. Every student comes up with their own skills, own some idea about what they want to become in future. So we want to support that. In today's time, before NEP 2020 perhaps, the understanding is that everyone would become a doctor or an engineer. Okay, and the support is more on that. How you become a doctor or how you become an engineer, there is no other job. But with the new economy, new world, all this advent of smartphone and every other new things, the job market has opened up a lot more, and you need skilled people in every area. For example, there is an example that people who are becoming English teachers do not have the skill to write a single sentence. People who are becoming maths teachers does not know how to solve a math problem. Simple math problem. So that should not happen. The person should be choosing their subject themselves. Teachers should guide them that okay, you can select this particular thing, what are the advantages, disadvantages, but there should not be any discouragement with respect to selecting a humanities subject, a language, or any other subject for that matter. And what used to be called as extracurricular activity should not be called an extracurricular activity anymore. It can become a core activity or core subject. For example, dancing can become your core subject. Painting can become your core subject. So that whatever thing helps you to develop your own skills or knowledge should be supported. That is the principle. That is where all the universities and the institutes are going to be reaching the particular place. So according to the highest priority of achieving foundational literacy and numeracy by all students. Numeracy meaning at least knowing the numbers. They know 1 to 10, they know how to count. Okay. So there need to be some foundational literacy and numeracy. That is the highest priority. Flexibility so that learners can choose their own learning trajectories. As I told, they can select a subject like dance, select like subject like painting, along with some science subject. They might be doing something in scientific drawing. So learning painting might help. So these universities or institutes should help or give them the opportunity to select those subjects together, rather than only scientific subjects which he might not be interested. Might not be interested with chemistry, but since if you take science, you have to take chemistry, that kind of options should go away. But you should give the flexibility to the person that okay, I want this holistic improvement, and for that painting will help me in my science, in my physics. So I can take physics and I can take painting. So this kind of things, this kind of flexibility are one of the fundamental principles.
Entrance test will be abolished.
Entrance test will be abolished, is not mentioned anywhere. But emphasis that only you need to do and prepare for that, that is going away. That is what is happening from class 6, 7 onwards. Schools and parents are kind of forcing the students to learn maths, physics, chemistry so much that they can be ready for the joint entrance examination. That kind of thing would not be there.
Again, if they want to crack, they have to crack that type of entrance, then they have to take the physics, chemistry, mathematics. Otherwise, how?
No, I think that would also change. That what will be the exact things like currently it is physics, chemistry and maths for engineering and physics, chemistry and biology for medical. Perhaps that would eventually be a little more lenient. Biology should be there for medicines, but there could be some other subject you can choose. For example, physics might not be needed. So this kind of changes would come, but they are not exactly mentioned in NEP. What I went through the document, it is a, I can say it is a 65 or how many pages? It is 66 pages document. You can go through. This is the one. National Education Policy 2020. And these are the higher education.
Nothing is compulsory.
So no, nothing is compulsory.
So actually,
it's fine.
biology, chemistry, if anyone not choose, then go. He or she maybe go for medical.
No, she was talking about what about the test, medical entrance test. Right now it is based on physics, chemistry and biology. Okay, so or it's called life sciences, physics, chemistry and life sciences. But it might reduce the burden on physics because physics is not that much related to. But I don't think they would go away with biology and chemistry. Otherwise, how would you choose that course? No, you cannot automatically select that one day I want to become a doctor. There has to be a
Actually, last 2-3 years back, like in mathematics is not mandatory for engineering sets come like this.
Is in 2021
Yes,
Once I
at
have
that
seen-
time mathematics is not mandatory for engineering.
for engineering. That
So
that I have seen.
It is supposed to seem like that also in medical also biology is not mandatory.
No, that is not mandatory. I understand. I'm talking about the competitive exam.
Yes.
Competitive exam, for example, joint you have to have at least till today for mathematics. For the engineering joint, you have to have maths, physics, and chemistry.
Still today.
So I am saying that also might become lenient. That one or two subjects are mandatory. For example, engineering, perhaps maths and physics would be mandatory. Chemistry,
Right.
that for the medical one, the other way around. Physics might not be. So those kind of things might come. This is not yet decided. There is no mention about competitive exam and what are the subjects should be there. But what it is saying that you can choose your own subject, and humanities can be mixed with science and this kind of arts like painting, drawing, singing, all these things today are considered extracurricular activity. This term would be abolished. And then they are saying that it would be considered as one of your core strengths. That is how you can build a holistic improvement for a student. That is the policy. That is the principle. Yeah, no hard separations between arts and sciences, between curricular and extracurricular. Multidisciplinarity, this is the term they have brought, multidisciplinarity and holistic education. Emphasis on conceptual understanding rather than simple rote learning and learning for exams. So creativity and critical thinking to encourage logical decision making and innovation. So these are some principles. How do you implement? Whereas there will be some changes to this policy as well, because the target is to make this fully ready by 2040. Okay. And there is an intermediate target until 2030. So by 2030 you have to be ready with this multidisciplinary thing. So you have time. So by then definitely all this, how to address this competitive exams would come. So ethics and human and constitutional values I talked about in the vision, like empathy, respect for others, cleanliness, all these things would become part and parcel of your syllabus. Promoting multilingualism, for example, you can take 2 or 3 languages together. Life skills such as communication, cooperation, teamwork, resilience, all should be part. Focus on regular formative assessment for learning rather than summative assessment. Like one exam, annual exam, it would go away, so that it would discourage the coaching culture currently we have, which is solely dependent on the final exam. So rather than it would be continuous evaluation throughout the year, so there would be less dependence on the coaching center and less dependence on studying at home, because it is continuous evaluation. You have to attend the school and whatever your teacher says you have to follow. Extensive use of technologies for handicaps and other people. Respect for diversity and respect for local context in all curriculum. For example, West Bengal cultures and everything should be followed, but it should not be same as the other states. Full equity and inclusion as the cornerstone of all educational decisions. Again, inclusion. Synergy in curriculum across all levels of education. Suppose some state government is following some level of education that is absolutely different with some other state. That should go away. Teachers and faculty as the heart of the learning process. Their recruitment, continuous professional development, positive working environments, and service conditions. This is a very vague term. How we can make this? That needs to be followed, right? And how we can make the recruitment process very clean. How we can make this continuous professional development. Yeah. So these are some of the principles they have mentioned about the ways to implement few of them, but most are not mentioned. Implementation steps, unfortunately, are missing. So that is why that is the biggest challenge all the institutes or universities would have. That how to implement this multidisciplinary. Shall we hire a history professor just for 5 students? It's predominantly a science institution, and someone chooses to have history, and only 5 of them. So for that 5 people, you have to have 1 or 2 faculties. So it is a huge cost burden to the institute or universities. Think from the practical implementation perspective. Good idea, but how you can implement? Very difficult. So going forward, a light but tight regulatory framework to ensure integrity, transparency, and resource efficiency. The term is good, but how we can bring that regulatory framework? One is the civil score. I understand that it would kind of give you a perspective that what kind of educated you are, how ready you are for that particular industry or that particular teaching institute. So, but again, there are some loopholes there. Outstanding research as a co-requisite for outstanding education and development. How do you define outstanding research? How do you break? So, those kind of definition need to come. For example, for an outstanding research, you need to have this many citations in Google. That you have this many papers, this many articles. Minimum should have 10, at least 8 should have this kind of ratings. All those things needs to be defined. Then only you can say that it is an outstanding research. You need to kind of make it objective rather than subjective evaluation. Continuous review of progress based on sustained research and regular assessment by educational experts is good. A rootedness and pride in India, its rich, diverse, ancient and modern culture and knowledge system and traditions. So somewhere you are talking about bringing new things, but at the same time should not forget your roots. That is what the fundamental principle. Education is a public service access to quality education must be considered basic right of every child. Again, it's a statement, it's a principle. How we can implement that, that is a biggest challenge. Because from the very first NEP till today, every government or every say the different bodies are trying to do that so that every person or every child gets the basic education. But that is pretty difficult to do. But it is, they are again emphasizing on that point. Substantial investment in a strong, vibrant public education system as well as the encouragement and facilitation of true philanthropic, private and community participation would be encouraged. Okay, again some principles. So now moving on to the school education, which I think you have already heard and you already know that from this 10 plus 2 structure it would be 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. So based on that, in class 3 there would be an exam, class 5 there would be an exam, class 8 there would be an exam, apart from this class 10 and 12. Eventually they might get rid of this 10 plus 2 exams like this, at least the secondary one, the 10 one, they might discontinue after some time. And they are calling it as foundational, preparatory, middle and secondary type of school education. And early childhood care and education they are talking about. So brain development happens within the age of 6. So critical importance of appropriate care and stimulation of the brain would be taken care of to ensure healthy brain development and growth. So which is directly related to other policies of the government. Whether every child is getting that kind of say support from the state as well as central government, that they gave the right meal, they gave the right infrastructure so that their brain can be developed within a particular age. So this is a policy, ECCE, Early Childhood Care and Education, which brings this flexible, multifaceted, multi-level, play-based, activity-based, inquiry-based learning. For universal access to ECCE, Anganwadi centers will be strengthened with high quality infrastructure, play equipment and well-trained Anganwadi workers. So whenever we are suggesting, everything needs lots of investment. We are talking about Anganwadi centers having high quality infrastructure, which should match with the English medium schools we have in West Bengal. Very difficult to achieve. So again, policy level, these are all good, but how to implement is very difficult. Attaining foundational literacy and literacy, enjoyable and inspirational books for students, so that free books should be available to the student, libraries should be there, and the cost of all those are the price of those school textbooks should be very minimal, so that everyone can afford it. All these things they are suggesting. Children are unable to learn optimally when they are undernourished on, so nutrition and health levels we should check. Curtailing the dropout rates, okay. Universal participation, that they are enrolled and attending school, they have suitable opportunities to catch up and re-enter. Some people drop out, whether they have the option to come back. All these things to ensure that children of migrant laborers and other children who are dropping out due to various circumstances are brought back to the mainstream education. Reduce curricular content to enhance essential learning and critical thinking. So reducing the big syllabus that we have currently, instead of that, you bring in enhance essential learning and critical thinking. So doing some projects, doing some things hands-on, instead of only reading books. Empower students through flexibility in course choices. This is what I was giving examples. No extracurricular, co-curricular activities, all are core and you can combine. You can read everything until class 8 in your mother tongue and English is not needed. But you are given the choice whether you want to go for a bilingual, trilingual approach or a single language mother tongue approach until class 8. For that, the different educational bodies would come up with how high quality textbook written in the mother tongue. National textbook with local content and flavor. The textbook is there, which is one single for all the states, but you can customize it for the particular state. Bring some local content and flavor. Transforming assessment for student development. It should shift from this exam-based, annual exam-based thing. More regular, more competency-based, promoting learning and development for our students, and which test skills, analysis skills, and analytical thinking, critical thinking, conceptual clarity. It will test all those things. Again, a vague statement because very difficult to measure that. Board exam for grades 10 and 12 will be continued. The existing system of board and entrance exams shall be reformed to eliminate the need for undertaking coaching classes. Then there will be a national assessment center, PARAK, which will assess all the different institutes, how they are following. They will do surveys to know if every institute following the principles. Support for gifted students and students with special talents, that will be given. And for higher education, institutional restructuring and consolidation. The main task is to do this kind of thing, that every institute should accommodate at least 3,000 students. For example, institute like Supreme should have 3,000 students or more. And it should have all types of subjects, not only the engineering subjects but other subjects as well. It should offer all those things, right? So think about that kind of a future. Very difficult to achieve because it means lots of investment. And who will do the investment? Government is saying that it is not government alone will do. So who will come forward and do that? Because they would also do the cost benefit analysis. If they do not get sufficient amount of students, and as I said, only for 5 students if they have to hire a faculty, it is not a very good cost benefit I can take. So by 2040, this is what I was talking about, shall aim to become these multidisciplinary institutes and the largest student enrollment. But by 2030, it should become multidisciplinary. I'm not sure how in next 6 years it is possible. Towards a more holistic and multidisciplinary education we have talked about. It also talked about the one of those Kadambari, which talked about 64 arts. So again, it's trying to link back to the ancient India and how they did it, but with some modern flavor. Structure of programs, that is what we are talking about, that master's degree can be of 1 year, can be of more than 1 year depending on what kind of research you are doing. MPhil program has been abolished, and this is a 4-year duration for this suppose simple science graduates. It will be 4 years instead of 3 years. It is already implemented at least in West Bengal colleges. Now if you go to the state government colleges, all are becoming 4-year bachelor's degree. So it is cost for the college that now they have to have another year for the student. So they need more faculties because it's 1 year more of students. So who will provide? So state governments, aided colleges can get that funding from the state government as well as from the UGC. But what about the private organization? How they will benefit? Then this multiple entry and exit system that our chief guest was talking about, that you can anytime enter a course or anytime exit the course and you get a degree, diploma based on that. So it needs an implementation plan. They are writing itself that needs an implementation plan because it's not very easy to implement. Because how will you measure that this person is ready to take up the course at an intermediate stage? It's very difficult to achieve. Any student cannot be enrolled in an engineering college randomly. Although it is, they are saying that, but how you can randomly enroll a person in between the course? So you need to have several assessment process while taking up a new student or existing student who has left out 3 years back or 4 years back. So that means the faculties would have much more work to do in future. So people will be frightened to become a teacher or a professor in future if this has to be implemented. This is how challenging it is for the faculty members, I think. So institutes are also working to find a solution for the re-entry of students midway. Yeah, so there is no fixed solution to this until now. Improve placement system so that everyone is placed. So industry academia needs to improve. Industry academia collaborations needs to improve. So what is the impact on technical education? So I'll quickly complete. Yeah, I'll not take more than 5 minutes for the rest of the slides. In the last 3 years, as part of, I'll read out this one, implementing the objective of NEP 2020, engineering education has been made multidisciplinary. The technical curriculum has been revised considering the industry needs. Choice-based curriculum now covers subjects from humanities. Many of the institutes have already come up with that. Furthermore, engineering textbooks have been published in regional languages. Already 226 authors have contributed and developed 218 engineering books for the first year UG and diploma students. Other books are also under development. Okay, so AICTE has used advanced digital technologies to translate the course materials. So that is a good approach, that instead of writing only the books, if it can done runtime, that you are kind of taking a course in English, how you can translate that course material to Bengali, to Oriya, or to any other regional language. That is far more important using the latest technologies like that. So in what way has NEP brought in an element of multidisciplinarity? So it is, there is special emphasis to students to develop soft skills. They can take any subject they can choose. The universal human values are being taught. All those things I have covered. And teacher training. Accordingly, you have to develop teacher training. AI tools such as ChatGPT has made teachers think and change the question pattern for subjects like computer science. And so there are this AICTE Teaching and Learning Academy, this ATAL, like this KPP is ATAL sponsored, has devised many industry relevant courses for upskilling and reskilling teachers. So teacher training has become important. So do you think that the last 3 years has been able to fully integrate AI into the education system? I have taken this from the note from NEP, but my own idea is that it has not able to integrate fully the AI into the education system. There are much better and other ways to do that. For example, we talked about the various industry 4.0 and 5.0 concepts. You can take help of AI, the conversational AI. You can ask questions so that you can get reply. Those kind of tools can be developed for teaching institutes, so that people frequently ask questions. These FAQs can be developed using AI. So you can generate this kind of material within no time using generative AI, for example, instead of manually developing those course contents. So that is one example. There are multiple this kind of examples where AI can be used to develop or to implement your NEP-2020 in the ecosystem. So I think I will stop here. I will ask for any questions.
There is lack of information in the infrastructure if any student wants to get any particular subject. The infrastructure is not there.
Is it a question?
So I am asking you how it could be implemented.
Which one?
There is any plan. That means if any student opt for or go for any particular subject, then how the teacher students that or laboratory setup, how it would be.
Yeah, that's another gap in NEP 2020, because it has given you a direction that this is the idea of the educationist or the consultant of the government, but the implementation steps are lacking. Various types, like I gave example of that one particular subject is chosen by couple of students. So will you have faculties for only those couple of students? That is nearly impossible for a country like us. It might be done in US. So it is in some areas it is blindly following the US education system. It should not be there. It should be a combination of whatever used to be there plus some of the good features of the US system. That's the basic challenge basically, that it has blindly copied, although it has again kind of connected ancient things and all those ethos and values and everything. But basically it is trying to copy US education system.
So not even now, and KV also following this, just proposed 4 to 5 subject groups and students are to paper.
Right.
So there is no choice for the students. Still, our times also we are from our school to give you some choice. Same things KB doing now in the NEP-20.
The thing is that we are not understanding. If you go to the US and go to any type of companies or institutes, the Asians, especially the Indians, are there, and they are coming from what kind of a system? The current system we used to have until say 2020, 2021. So that means it has somewhat which we could have used. We could have tried to improve that rather than bringing absolutely a new method, which is very, very difficult to implement and extremely costly to implement. I don't think that it would continue for another 20 years that it has said. Again, another reform would come and there would be NEP something say 2029, because we all know that it is not going to change in 2024.
Like possible it is on paper. It's possible in only paper. Implementation is
So
not.
there will be a NEP 2030 definitely, which would change everything.
Sir, one way it is correct, I think so, in my knowledge. Sir, NEP 2020 actually based on the skill-based approach. So they are enforcing on skill. Then an Indian structure, if you go for the previous also, there is no parity between different graduation system at the same of graduation. Somebody going for physics graduation, 3 years graduation. Somewhere it is 2 years graduation, somewhere it is 4 years master degree and for BTech and BPharm, 4 years graduation. So there should be a parity. Even beside our country, Sri Lanka, they are following 4 years master degree. they are going for physics, chemistry, maths, any master degree that will be 4 years master degree. And 4 years master degree is valid over the world. Everybody has to follow these things. So they are supposed to make this skill-based education, because first year, somebody complete the first year, they will get a certificate. Second year, diploma. Third year, that will be a graduation, simple graduation, and fourth year will be the graduation with honors. That is the system they made it. And in between that, they told that the 50% for graduation, they told that 140 credit must be there, 160 credit must be there. And in between that, 50% credit should be major subject, and then minus up to 25% like that, and like that other courses are given. So now the question is coming, what you are saying, that who will recruit the teacher? Some baskets are created, and that basket, how
That is what I'm trying to say, that they will not recruit those many teachers, and it would be more pressure on the existing teachers to cover all those subjects for all those years. It is nice that you have a consistency with other countries that it is 4 years. But for adding that 1 year, you are not going to recruit another 10 faculties. The same 6 faculties.
No, sir, that is not actually the factor, sir. Factor is that whenever university is recruiting something, suppose there is top skill, 5 paper they have to complete. Suppose ancient Indian education, one paper is there, no teacher is there for teaching this subject. And similarly, some other subjects are included, that for that there is no teacher. So universities are enforcing that, okay, this subject you have to study. So there are some common basket subject, other subject you cannot take. Like that, again, one thing is challenge. That is first year, after a certificate course, if student go outside and they go try to get chances another place, where he will get chance? The universities are saying that you have to go for the entire 3 years or 4 years education. So otherwise, how university will run their course also? So that multiple exit and multiple entry, that is also a problem for the universities.
Principles are good,
That must be very easy.
but they haven't thought of the implementation that much.
Madam, stage out.
Question?
Madam, stage.
So at the end of the session second, I would like to invite our principal sir, Dr. Professor Devashi Shankar sir, to deliver this appreciation certificate to Dr. Soumitra Shankar sir. So on behalf of SKA, we are immensely thankful to Dr. Soumitra Shankar sir for his efforts towards his own ideas and elegance of explanation of everything. We convey our deepest sense of appreciation to sir for giving us such a wonderful time and enhancing our knowledge. I also extend our thanks to all of the staff members and also all the participants and student volunteers too, and also our honorable chairman sir and principal sir for this enormous cooperation within the organization for these sessions. Thank you, sir. Now, after this session, you have a tea break which is arranged in the outside this language lab, and after that you have a practical session in an advanced lab. And our volunteers will guide you for that session.